everybody, it's Vanessa and welcome to my Dyslexic Life. Today I want to talk about what happens when we have visualized something in our mind and it doesn't actually match the reality of the situation. So what do I mean by that? Well, as dyslexics, we naturally visualize, think in images, think in 3D, and it is our natural thinking style. So I was in a meeting recently and we talked about renting some office space, and we discussed it from a budgetary point of view, and we discussed it from, how it would work in the business and what our idea of it was going to be. And at the end of that meeting, all three of us agreed that it was a good idea to look at. So in my head, I had already imagined us finding somewhere, imagined us kind of setting it up. I'd already imagined us having that professional office space that we wanted. So for me, the decision had been made and it was definitely happening. And then I was in another meeting a week later, and one of the members said, "Oh well, we're going to look at office space, but it will depend on budget, and it's something we're looking into." And I kind of sat there in that meeting going, "What? But we've decided that it's happening. We've decided it's going to go ahead." So I was kind of a bit confused. I was like, but I thought we'd already looked at the budget, and afterwards I went up to the person in the meeting and I was like, so I'm just a little bit confused, because I thought we were definitely getting somewhere to rent and we just needed to find the right place. And it was really interesting because their reaction was, well, we agreed we were going to look at it. We agreed that we were going to see if we could find somewhere, but it doesn't actually happen until we sign the lease. And I kind of started smiling to myself because I understand my dyslexia and I understand myself. I kind of laughed and I said, I started getting really confused in that last meeting, because to me, we've made the decision that it's going to happen and I've visualized it happening. So therefore it is going to happen. Whereas another team member is like, well, we've talked about it and we're going to look at it, but it won't actually happen until we sign the lease. So can you see they're just two different perspectives? And all I wanted to bring your attention to was, like, I sat in that meeting thinking, okay, I am so confused now, because I thought this was all agreed upon, and now it's like it isn't happening. And it really made me think about some of the other things that have happened in my life where I've done the same thing. I've talked about the thought, or we've agreed on something, and in my mind I've thought about it and visualized it. And so for me, I've already attached all the emotion to it happening. And then, of course, it may or may not happen in the real physical world. And it's just about recognizing that about ourselves and, recognizing that often we will get emotionally attached to the picture that we've created. And that's okay. That's what creates excitement and all sorts of other good things. But it's also knowing that that's happening, and that knowing, we won't actually get an office until we've signed the lease, because that's what has to happen in the physical world for it to happen. So it was just a really interesting experience, and it really made me think of how my dyslexia was kind of making me approach this situation from one viewpoint, and the other person in the meeting was approaching it from this point, which was a very practical way and a very practical, like, when we sign it, that's when we have it. Whereas I'm like, we've already thought about it and we've discussed it, therefore we've got it. So I hope you're having a good week wherever you are, and thanks so much for watching these videos. It really does mean a lot. And yeah, please leave a comment, and I'll do my best to get back to you.